Have you ever had one of those radios where you just think, please, please go away, please don't come back ever, ever? Well, this is it. FT107M. You know what? A lot of you know I've got some FT107Ms and bits and pieces, and actually I've got a full another lineup yet that's got to go on top of that cream one. And this is for a very, very good friend of mine. And God, I've got to be nice to him. He's a great mate of mine, and he sort of has a few other contacts in other industries as well, where we all sort of culminate together when there's no virus. But I've got to tell you, why is it your good mates radios are always the painful ones? We've got this one here, absolute nightmare. Excuse me, this one here that we've been able to get sorted to some degree, to a large degree, and two more over there. Okay, so what did we actually end up doing? In all honesty, we ended up turning three radios into one. So I've got some little things we'll never get one of them working. One of them has a shocking fault, and my mate got absolutely reamed in the nicest possible way, if you could ever be reamed nicely, by buying an entire FT107 lineup, which, look, on the surface look good. Please check these radios out, because seriously, the one he got, which is the one down here, look at that, looks nice, doesn't it? Looks really pretty. Yeah. We've just put it all back together, but it's never going to work again. It's too many faults. Sometimes you'll get a radio where it's just too many individual faults and too many people have been into them, and that was one of them. So what we've done, we've taken entirely another radio, and we're just making the best out of one. Now this, strangely enough, had one little issue with it itself. Unbelievable. We thought we were just about almost there, and had an oscillator problem in this particular one, and it was not resolving the 10C band correctly. As I was going through the bands, I thought, beauty, I think we'll just hand him this one and throw the other one in the bin, but no. Then we needed a couple of other nice aesthetic bits off the other one. We've sort of swapped a few bits around to make a very, very nice looking radio in the end. The third one wasn't needed for parts, it was more needed for cosmetics. There were a couple of things I had that were better than my friend's radio that I thought we'll give him those. So let's have a little look. I'm just going to go hello test a little bit, and I won't keep you on the watt meter the whole time. 1, 2, 3, 4, hello. Let's have a look. Hello. Okay, so on 160 meters, instead of going up and back to the meter each time, we're getting 120 odd watts there. And we go to 80 meters. Hello. All right, very quick look, but same sort of thing. Hello. Yeah. Actually, that would have exceeded. That went to 124.9. Now, anybody who doesn't know much about the R2000 monitors, 124.9 is the most you'll get. When it hits 124.9 and just stays there, it's normally more. Well, it is more. No, it is more generally. So let's have a look. Just quickly go through. Hello test. 1 2 1 2. Similar. Good. I just love to see all these bands work. Hello, 1 2 3 4 5. We're going into the R2000 monitor at the moment with a dummy load that covers 125 watts, so we're good there. Hello, 1 2, and have a look at that, even on there. Hello. See, I would have expected by 20 meters. I got to be honest, I would have expected that's still over 124.9. So it's doing well. Hello, 1 2 3 4 5. Hello. Getting about 75, 80 watts there, so that's down a little bit there on 17. Hello. Well, there you go, and that'll be the filter on 17. We might even peak that after. Hello, 1 2 1 2. So yeah, still getting that 124.9, so we're getting over 125 watts there. 12, hello test, 1 2. 1 2 1 2, yeah, same thing. 10 will drop, I know for a fact. These will not do anything like that sort of power on 10. Hello. Look, still 70 odd watts. These were never known to do quite what they should on 10 meters. They've always been a little bit low, but it's fine. It's doing well. Actually, I just want to check the other bands. Hello, 1 2. So the other parts, yep, good. Let's check this. 1 2 1 2. Yep, good. Hello, test 1, 2. All right, a little bit lower on the 10 meter section, but I'm not particularly worried about that. It's still getting some very good power out for it. What would these be? I don't know. 30-year-old radio? Would that be right? 20, maybe 25-year-old radio. So not too bad. Let's do a receive test on our favourite band, 40 meters. Let's put it on about 7.1 will do, and let's plug a bit of receive into that and let's see a bit of a tone. Okay, so 0.5 of a microvolt. It is hearing that beautifully. Not even a remote issue with that. It's really strong at 0.5. Let's just have a look. I'll just sorry. Okay, that's 0.05. I can still just hear it at 0.85. Lightning hot receivers, these things. S meter working as it should, which is what we want to see as we change the variance of microvolts going in. Very rare that you'll see a receiver fault on these things. They are very nice radios when they are working, and stipulation number 2, when nobody plays with them. There you go. Covered that all in one. Another thing that we do when they're in storage, this is one that's come out of storage, for obvious reasons, we keep the batteries out of these things, because what's below here with that counter unit, you can even see there's a little bit of, just where the batteries used to be, a little bit of green there. We'll clean that up, but batteries we don't keep in them when they're sitting out in the shed, I can tell you. All bad news when they, excuse me, when they certainly leak, especially onto that counter unit, corrodes everything. The other thing that you want to look out for when you're looking at an FT107M, get used to the fact every FT107M on the planet drifts a little bit. No question. There is, without going out and putting another sort of board in there, like a third-party board, every one of them do. But they don't drift like my mate's was. Well, he had something which was comical to watch. You'd sit here and then you go 7068.5, 0.4, 0.3, 0.2, then it's 67, 66, 65, 64, 63, and that's what they do when they're faulty. What they do when they're actually quite good is what they're doing right now. And this is really a great example of an FT107M, which is, after a lot of mucking around between two units, we've come up with the perfect, as near perfect radio that you're ever going to get with an FT107M. Once again, I don't want to overrate the 107M. It had its great points, it had its failings. If you get one that's got VFO issues and has got problems with the microprocessor, good luck. VFO can be fixed. The microprocessor issues that they have, sort of can be really a pain. We've had them where we've had to replace our entire VFOs. This one down here, we actually had in a million pieces, put a VFO in it from another unit. And we've had probably 80 hours on that unit minimum, trying to see if we could get that one right. And when you finally give up and say, hey, let's make one beautiful radio out of two, it means you haven't been actually as successful as you probably wanted to be. But as you can see, we've been now talking away for the last minute. And here's the good thing. 7068.5 hasn't moved one bit. If we had a tone on that, this is probably the most stable FT107 I have ever seen in my life. I'm not saying that because I worked on it, because I'm not responsible for, how stable a unit is or not. No question about that. But I am saying it because I've seen an awful lot of these radios, and this one is, not bad. We've still got a little bit of putting that together yet. We've got the crystal board, which is actually not called crystal board. They call it on this the local unit, which is the local crystals, and the RF unit sort of hanging out of this one. We've just got to get a few things back together on it. But overall, excuse me, I'm impressed. I really am. Look at this talk power. Hello. This is a machine. Hello, test 1, 2. VK3 Charlie Mike testing on dummy load 1, 2, 7068.5. Yeah, it's still 706. Now, another thing to look for when you transmit, sometimes those digits will drop on you. Another sign that, once again, you've got an issue in the local unit, or you've got an issue in the digital unit, or in the VFO itself. This one, nice and stable. So, this has been fun. We're just about to go through just the last few features of the radio. What you want to do is you you know, when you've spent so much time trying to get a radio ready for a matey, you know, don't forget things like, you know, is the volume control scratchy? You know, which it's not actually, which is good. But with this, you know, some of our radios have sat around for a long time. You know, check all the various functions like your RIT functions, etc., and that they're swinging and doing what they should do, and that, you know, all lights are coming up, etc., for your memory unit, blah blah blah. Can't remember how to put a memory. I think it's memory recall, and then does that there, etc. But you know, we'll do things like say, right, let's turn the processor on, make sure the processor. Oh yeah, look at the processor drive. 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3. All right, so the processor works. Let's give it that. Attenuated, you can hear that cutting in, but if we wanted to see it cut in, put a bit of signal into it, put it back onto 7.1. So let's have a look at the attenuator. Look at that. Attenuator off. Attenuator on. Beautiful. Now, you've got your APF and your notch here for your passband and notch filtering. Once again, you can hear them cutting in. Now, I've got to remember where the notch is on these. Come on, can't be that hard. That's the width. There it is. There you can hear a little bit of variance on the tone there. And the APF is the same control. That's right. And you can sort of... more a CW sort of tool, that one. But all working, which is great. Turn that volume down. Let's just have a look. So AGC, now we're not going to see that working on a AGC off, fast and slow. Unfortunately, we're not going to see that working unless we're looking at a signal that's varying, and then we see the recovery rate from slow to high. But we'll check that quickly on an antenna and make sure that's working all right. Let's turn that irritating tone off. And the other thing that, of course, is very handy is the marker, and the marker's working perfectly. So it should just null at 0 0. It nulls at 0 0, so we're happy there. So all good. And the noise blanker, we'll probably test that on air, but quite seriously, very unusual to see a noise blanker that's not working. So what have we missed? Noise blanker control, and there's a compression control for your processor. So let's turn the compression control right down. 1 2 3 4 5 1 2, and have a look at the difference. 1 2 3 4 5 1 2. Okay, so I'll just add some compression and compression. Let's try it right up. Have a look at this. 1 2 3 4 5 1 2. Yeah, okay. So we know our variable compression is working correctly on the processor. This has got a nasty processor. I mean nasty in a good way. That's really driving well. That's really has. The other little thing that we'd check, of course, is excuse me, the Vox. Now the Vox is probably just a 1 2 1 2. Oh no, hang on. Got to remember now on these. Geez, it's give me a second. I'll just have a quick look. Can't remember how the Vox works on these. I might have to just chuck the gain up on the back. Actually, oh no, the gain's on the front. There'll be the delay on the back. Hang on. And like most things in life, it was quite simple. Hello, 1 2. Talk into the mic. Talk. 1 2. Boy, that meter's going hard. Okay, we might have a little look at that too. The meter's adjusting. Okay, so virtually the Vox here is not a switched Vox. It's basically when you've got the level down, the Vox is off. When you turn it up, you're turning the Vox gain on. And hello 1 2 as I talk. 1 2 3 4, and then I turn it back down again. So Vox working beautifully. So very happy with that. Processor we've decided. So we're really pretty happy. Excuse me. We may just adjust that needles a little bit. I mean, this thing is poking out some power. It really is. It's doing extremely well for its age. These radios, normally we see them, look, I've seen them down to 50 watts on 10 meters and 80 watts on, 160, 80 meters. This is really, percolating quite well. Never expect them to be 100% perfect like they were straight out of the box. Unfortunately, over time, caps, lots of things, that start to, change the tolerances on what you're, trying to achieve. And, maybe, even with this, I'll be telling my mate, look, maybe don't run it at full tote odds all the time. It's kind of silly to run it at 124.9 watts when, you could just have a nice 70 to 100 watt signal and that's it, it'll last forever. Okay, well, we've got a little bit of just a couple little things to tidy up, but after that, all I can say is, part of me says I hope I never see another FT107 again, but I know that's not going to be true because we've got a couple on the floor here which we've got to finish off and get out of here. But nice to sort of see one come up so well. I know my mate will be really happy. I wish I could name him, but he has asked not to be named, and we always reserve and preserve people's privacy if in fact they want that, and certainly that's not an issue. But let me tell you, when he gets up on the air, you'll know who he is. He'll be the guy with that processor that sounds so strong. It's a really good processor on this thing. It drives beautifully. Anyway, enough carrying on about that. All right, well, that's the FT107M, and I know this has been a bit boring because this is more of a test for my mate to sort of just see some progress, and I thought, well, if we're going to do a progress report, do it on video and let you guys share a bit of an idea what the FT107M was like. And just so you know, look, this wasn't a model that everybody saw heaps of, so nice to kind of put it to video and say howdy and see what she does. You know what, I might just plug a quick antenna in it just before I say goodbye, just so you can hear the receive audio. They do sound very good. Completely on the wrong antenna, and look at the receive. This is the two toms on the Candos net. You know what, this thing's spot on too. I know Tom's voice, and 7093, that is spot on. Need to get the dust off it though. Still dust on the VFO. Sorry, you like that. Beautiful receive. Look, that is lovely. Absolutely. No, I'm liking that. I really am. Nice audio. Sorry, just. Well, that's Ron in South Australia, and I wouldn't have expected I'd hear him too well on a 10-metre antenna. Amazing.
No, I haven't. You're going to be next. I just comment on. I heard Eric, Tom.
I wish I could transmit, but I would do amazing damage to the output stage by transmitting on this radio on a 10-metre antenna. We must put a tuner in here. You know what? We must put a connection to the right antenna for 40 metres. You imagine Ron, like in the other room here, Ron would be probably 10, 15 over 9. Let's have a look.
We live in the Riverland of South Australia.
And there he is. He's about 10, 15 over on the IC 7850, just as a bit of a test. Not bad. Okay, so back in the room on dummy load. I'm just going to check it on 7.1 for a minute. The other thing we didn't check was the meter function. So we can see here that the supply is in volts DC. IC current 1.2, and we won't be doing much at the moment because of the fact that we're not got the drive down. Let's have a look. What have we got here? ALC, probably because, let's have a look. Got my drive down. ALC, I might have a little look at that meter, just see what's going on there, because I would have, maybe compression. Let me have a little look at that. Yeah, I know what's going on with the ALC. That is because they've got the drive up so much. That 124.9 is stopping the ALC. On the compression, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The forward, 1, 2, 3. Why is that down now? Hang on, let's have a look. Yeah, like everything in life, it's how you hold your mouth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've got to turn that meter down. It's just pelting over too much. No, all right. we will knock that meter back a bit. And reflected power should be very nothing. Yes, that's it, because nothing would be right. Hello, 1, 2. And as you can see, I've adjusted the ALC. Hello, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And sometimes, just as a trick for new players, when you adjust the ALC on this, on any of these radios, often to get that huge power output that you're starting to see, is at the cost of the ALC metering circuit. Because the metering circuit just doesn't know what you're doing at that point, because it's saying, look, my job's to limit. You've just said don't limit. So the meter says 0. So that's why we had that 0 just before. Anyway. All right. Look, we're just about hit on 20 minutes, which is way over what I thought for this. But it's been good to go through this. My mate will love having a bit of a look through this video, because he's been thinking, God, it'd be nice to have an FT107M one day that works. He paid a lot of money for this lineup, the entire lineup. He's got exactly the same sort of lineup I've got sitting here in that colour there. Although I've got the transverters and that for this one, and we're going to put those in. But as you can imagine, when he had problems with the one he got, wasn't happy. 73s, VK3CM, all the best. Thanks very much for having a look at this FT107M.